Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming to attend this Dr. Lin's Tai Chi class for our SCCA Health Series. My name is Mike Chen. I was the Senior Board Director of the SCCA. So welcome to attend this seminar. And Dr. Lin is also our Board Director too. So he has been served here for at least almost 4 years now, and still have 2 more years. And we are glad that he can provide this series for the community. Next. Let me briefly introduce Dr. Lin's background. And he has many years experience in the Tai Chi class. And so he's also the co-founder of the Mind Brain Institute and John Hopkins, and he's also the founding director of the Laboratory for Mind-Body Signaling and Energy Research at the UC Irvine since 2000. And he also is appointed by the U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Service to serve on the National Advisory Council on the Complementary Medicine and Integrative Health. And he also served in the editor board for Journal of the Alternative and Complementary Medicines. And he is the indoor training of the 15 years with the Grandmaster of the Chen Zhenlei and the Chen family of the Chen Jiagou. And the birthplace, he was from the birthplace of the Tai Chi. He is also the permanent co-chair of the World Congress of the Qigong and the Traditional Chinese Medicine. And he also is an academic advisor of the A-volume series of the Qigong. And so he is very famous in the Tai Chi, this series. And this is series 3 for the science and the practice of the Chinese cultural arts for health and living. So welcome to attend this class. Thank you.
Testing. Okay. Thank you very much, Mike. And thank you all for coming. Before I start, as usual, I want to see how many of you were here for the last presentation on the effects of Tai Chi on the body. Tonight is on the brain. Okay, about half of you. Okay. So for those of you who would like to see what was given in the past 3 years, all of these, as you can see, these presentations were taped, videotaped, and they're available at the website of the Irvine Chinese School and on YouTube. I think you can see this well enough. So tonight's presentation is number 3 of 8 for this series. Okay, and so as I said last month, the talk was on the biology of mind-body practices on the body structure and function. And tonight is on the brain structure and function. This is the second half. And if you want to see the first one, go to the website of this organization and see the YouTube. So a quick review for those of you who were not here. So how does mind-body practices affect the body? Okay, very quickly, these exercises provide a workout for all muscle groups. For all muscle groups of the body, particularly the muscles involved in preventing you from falling. You'll train slow muscle fibers for strength, endurance, but also fast muscle fibers for speed. Muscle contraction can lead to secretion of this signaling molecule called interleukin-6, which breaks down fat all over the body. So it's not how many calories you burn. When you exercise this way, you also cut down the fat that's stored in the body. The vibration of bones increase bone density to avoid osteopenia or even worse, osteoporosis. And the stretching exercises stretches the connective tissues, leading to relief of pain and inflammation. And then the next lecture in 2 weeks is on how, when you do these exercises, you increase body energy and blood circulation. So you have to wait till in May before you can see that. All right, so tonight's lecture is how does mind-body practices enhance brain structure and function? So first of all, I have to tell you, in case you have not been following the news or the literature, there's a lot of research now done on how physical exercises could help brain function and brain structure. For instance, last year, there was a big international symposium at UCI. UCI is a hotbed for this type of research. It was called, in fact, Physical Exercise and Brain Structure at UCI, sponsored by the UCI Exercise Medicine and the Exercise Sports Science Initiative units of UCI. UCI also has a Center for Neurobiology of Learning and Memory, also very active in this type of research. So I will show you some of the research done over there as well as all over the world, showing how physical exercises can really help your brain function and enhance your brain structure. This is something that is now quite well known. In this particular study, they're looking at older adults, over 60, and they found that the group that exercised versus the group who didn't score a lot higher in all these, tests: executive function, control function, spatial recognition, the speed of doing arithmetic and so forth. You do a lot better compared to the group. You do a lot better if you exercise physically compared to the group who didn't. So tonight I'm going to show you some of the research data supporting this type of research and get down to the mechanisms. How come? One of the how come is this. When you exercise, certain parts of your brain actually is measurably bigger. Okay? So there is this part of the brain called the hippocampus. It's called the hippocampus because it looks like a seahorse. It's named after the seahorse. And this part of the brain, I will talk about quite a bit, is the center for memory and for stress response. As it turned out, when the volume of the hippocampus gets bigger and bigger and bigger, okay, it's due to you're doing more and more exercise, measured as cardiovascular fitness. So as people exercise more, they don't just enhance their cardiovascular health, their hippocampus gets bigger and bigger and bigger. When you have a bigger hippocampus, your memory goes up and your stress response goes down. So I will spend the rest of the hour explaining this, plus a lot of other things. The New York Times came up with this provocative statement last year. It says the closest thing to a wonder drug, try exercise. Question is, if I can strengthen my brain through physical exercise, but what about the mind? Okay. The brain is like the hardware, the mind is like the software. So to do well, you want both of them to improve. Then the questions that we will answer tonight, okay? If exercise is the best wonder drug, there's so many choices, so little time. Which exercise to do? How to do it? When to do it? How long do I need to exercise? And of course, that's why I'm here. What's the evidence behind all of this? And I will give you the evidence tonight. But first, let's get back to terminology here. Tonight we're talking about mind-body exercises, not just physical exercises. How do we define mind-body exercises? The integrated regulation of the mind, the body, and the breath. If you just exercise by riding a bike or taking a walk or running, that's just the body. But here we're talking about the mind and the regulation of breathing all at the same time as you exercise your body. And of course, we're talking about from China, Tai Chi and Qigong, which I will teach you in the second hour, some of the exercises to illustrate what you learn here. And yoga, we do some studies on yoga, but not as much. So we will concentrate on Tai Chi and Qigong. So first, how do you regulate the mind? By definition, regulation of the mind means controlling your thoughts so that you are focusing on one thing. The one thing better be neutral or pleasant. Okay, you don't want to concentrate on the problems. So concentrate on something either neutral, like a part of your body, like your dantian, or your third eye, or just simply your breath. Okay? What would that do? That will give you deep breaths, stress relief, and improve your mental concentration. But what's the evidence for that? So, first of all, stress relief. A few years back, the United States Agency for Health Research Quality, branch of the federal government, they did a comprehensive study on which mind-body exercise is the best for relieving stress. They did a computer search. They found over 800 papers on clinical trials of different types of mind-body practices, and they came up with this order. Tai Chi is by far number one in its effectiveness in reducing stress, as defined measurably by a decrease in blood pressure, followed by Qigong and yoga, and all the ones in yellow are the ones where you do this, okay, not very effective. And by the end of the night, you will be able to tell your neighbors why. So, in our laboratory, in collaboration with Dr. Srinivasan at the Department of Cognitive Science, we use electroencephalography, EEG, to study different types of brain waves during meditation. Now, it's quite well known that brain waves can be classified into so-called beta waves. These are fast waves. And when you see that, you know that the person is actively thinking, okay, calculating. When you see so-called alpha waves, these are slower waves. Means that the person is relaxed, calm, lucid, not thinking. When you see theta waves, even slower waves, then you're really in deep, deep rest. Okay? So in this study, we looked at the person, this is one of many people's studies, looked at a person just sitting there, resting, doing nothing, and you see that the beta waves, the alpha waves, and theta waves are all very, very low. Then, for the next 30 minutes, we asked this person to go into a meditative state. And you can see, wow, okay, the alpha waves jump way up, theta waves jump way up. Okay, so those are indicative of a person in deep relaxation. Now, if a person should fall asleep, you would see the same pattern. But what is unusual here is that we see also an elevation of the beta waves, meaning the person is too deeply thinking. So, a meditative state in this case can be interpreted as a dual state of relaxed concentration. You are getting deep rest while you are sharpening your brain. So it's better than sleeping. And then when we say, okay, stop your meditation, and these waves come back down. We looked at the time course. This is one of my colleagues who have been meditating or have had a meditative practice for 45 years. So, you can't be much more experienced than that. It's Professor Chin in Shanghai. And in case you can't see it from the back, okay, this is at 0 time, and this is the theta waves, the alpha waves, and the beta waves, okay? 0, 1 minute, 3 minutes. Just after 3 minutes, the alpha waves are very, very strong already, as you can see. 10 minutes, 30 minutes, it goes off scale. What does this indicate? That indicates that when somebody who's really experienced, within a matter of minutes, you can get into a very, very deep, deep rest. If you should fall asleep, you have to go through stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4 sleep. It takes you 2 hours before you get to deep sleep. But here, for experienced person, within a snap of a finger, person's deep rest. Okay, so if you have only half an hour, okay, half an hour minus 2 minutes, you're already in deep, deep rest. If you have half an hour, you go take a nap, you barely get into stage 1, stage 2, and then it's time to wake up. That's what it shows. Next, we also looked at this person compared to a person who has never meditated. Control, and this is the one person that I just showed. Okay? This is not during meditation. This is during the state of just sitting there, not doing anything. And you can see that this experienced meditator, just sitting there, already has a lot of strong alpha waves. In fact, white means off scale already. compared to this person who does not meditate, it's just not much here. This is indicative that long-term practice of meditation can actually alter your brain structure and function. That even when you don't meditate, you're in a much calmer state than a person like this, if indeed the alpha waves are indicative of somebody who's calm, not stressed, relaxed, and so forth. So it's not just how long you meditate that day, it's how much you have been meditating for your life. So for this person, which is extraordinary, who's been meditating for 46 years, 45 years, it changes the baseline level even before doing any meditation. So this person can tolerate a lot more stress because you're down at a very low level, and you can tolerate a lot more stress than the person who's here, and you can go overboard very easily. Okay? More recently, 2016, there's another study that corroborates the study which is there. Here, they looked at a group of people who are under stress. These are unemployed people, so that's obviously very stressful to be unemployed. And they divided half of them into a group that teach the meditation, and the other group did. And again, on the brain scans, okay, the meditation group show more communication among the portions of the brains that process stress-related reactions and the part of the brain related to